Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Kathleen Di Malata, and this is the continuation of our report. So, let's move on in Module 5. And I'm going to tackle is all about risk analysis security hazard. So, what is risk analysis and security hazard? Risk analysis and security hazard is a field that explores an integrated process conducted to provide decision makers with the information needed to understand factors that can negatively influence operation and outcomes, and make informed judgment concerning the extent of action needed to reduce vulnerabilities, protect resources, and optimize investment. Lesson 1 in Module 5. Risk Management Alternative and Strategies. So, what is risk management alternative and strategies? Risk management alternative and strategies is provide a constructed and coherent approach to identifying, assessing, and managing risk. It's built in a process for regularly updating the reviewing the assessment based on new develops or action. Definition of terminologies. Number 1. Hazard. Exposure to the chance of loss or injury, synonymous to risk and or peril. So, hazard can appear in many occupation circumstances. Some hazard are acute and pose an immediate danger to health and physical integrity of the worker or guest on the premises. Others take a longer time to materialize and have a cumulative effect, as the case for certain chemicals, vapors, dust, and radiation that may lead to chronic medical condition following repeat or prolonged exposure. Hazard can be classified as physical hazard, mechanical hazard, chemical hazard, biological hazard, ergonomic hazard, and psychosocial hazard. Number 2. Security hazard. Any act or condition which may result in the compromise of information, loss of life, loss or destruction, or property of disruption of the objective of the installation. It can also be defined as an act or condition affecting the safe operation of the facility caused by human action, accident, or intention. So, a security hazard is a substance, event, action, or circumstances which present a possibility, probability, chance, likelihood, or threat to the security of a person or object, causing a loss in the state of being free from danger or threat. Security hazard examples are some common safety concerns include falls, trips, fire hazard, road accidents, bumps, and collisions. Number 3. Risk. Is a potential damage or loss of an asset the level of risk is a combination of two factors. The value placed on that asset is by its owner, and consequence, adverse impact of the loss or damage to the asset, and the likelihood that a specific vulnerability will be exploited by a particular threat. So, risk is a chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effects is exposed to a hazard. It may also apply to situations with property or equipment loss or harmful effects on the environment. For example, the risk of developing cancer from smoking cigarettes could be expressed as cigarette smokers are 12 times, for example, more likely to die of lung cancer than non-smokers. 4. Risk management. It is a process of selecting and implementing security countermeasures to achieve an acceptable level of risk at an acceptable cost. So, risk is defined in financial terms as the chance that an outcome or investment actual gains will differ from unexpected outcome or return. 5. Risk analysis. It is analysis of risk, which include examination of the vulnerability, probability, and criticality of potential threats, and include natural and man-made risk. Risk analysis is the study of the underlying uncertainty of a given course of action and refers to the uncertainty of forecasted cash flow streams, the variance of portfolio or stock returns, the probability of a project success or failure, and possible future economic state. 6. Adversary. An individual, group, organization, or government that conduct activities or has the intention and capability to conduct activities detrimental to the individual, private, or government entity. Adversary antagonist means a person or a group contending against another. Adversary suggests an enemy who fight determinedly, continuously, and relentlessly. A formidable adversary antagonist suggests one who in hostile spirit opposes another, often in a particular contest or struggle. A duel with an antagonist. 7. Asset. Any information, facility, materials, information, or activity which has a positive value to its owner, whether it is an individual, private, or government entity. Asset is a resource with economic value that an individual, corporation, or country owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide future benefits. 8. Countermeasure. An action taken or physical security used to reduce or eliminate one or more vulnerabilities. The cost of possible countermeasure may be monetary, but may also include non-monetary costs, such as reduce operational efficiency, adverse publicity, unfavorable, unfavorable working condition, and political consequence. Countermeasure is a measure or action taken to counter or offset another one. As a general concept, it implies precision and is mainly technological or tactical solution or system designed to prevent an undesirable outcome in the process. 9. Probability. It is a change or likelihood that the loss will take place, indicated by a mathematical statement concerning the possibility of an event occurring. Probability is a branch of mathematics concerning numerical description of how likely an event is to occur or how likely it is that a proposition is true. 10. Criticality. It is the impact of the loss as measured in financial terms of the survival of existence of the organization. Probability in the operation of the nuclear reactor. Criticality is the state in which a nuclear change reaction is self-sustaining, that is, when reactivity is zero. In supercritical state, reactivity is greater than zero. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is General Salmendo, and now I'm going to explain about the relatability of risks and security. Number 1. Relative criticality of the operation. This pertains to the importance of the firm with reference to the natural economy and security. Example is gasoline depots, communication transmission lines, and power plant. When we say the relative criticality of the operation, this firm is important to our natural economy. Kaya ay dapat ang company dapat kinahanglan sa security para ma-secure ang safety kag dapat sa isang company may ara sang security nga naka-assign para hindi masulod sang makawat ang minang kumpanya. Economy that could lead to the result na mamat-amat ubos kag dula ang natural economy kag posible gid nga maepektuhan ang security. For example, nang ginaapobrahan sang mga baril nga nagasupply sa atong kapulisan kag sundalo. Ang pag nagkaroon sila sang problema or nawala or na-bankrupt, may possibility gid nga maapektuhan ang national security dahil sila ang source of weapon. Number 2. Relative vulnerability. This is the susceptibility of the plant or establish the damage, loss, or disruption the operation due to the various hazard. A good example is the location of the building, the machine of presence of possible poison. Security manager and planners normally consider the above relatability and determining the degree of security measure needed to reduce or eliminating the potential risk of hazard. When we say relative vulnerability, meaning mismo ang pagkasira sa isa ka facility that's all about the damage of facility or loss sa plan na pwede makapekto sa operation sa isa ka facility. For example, nagpatindog ka sa buildings sa isa ka lugar nga damos ang tawo or depressed sa sina nga area is because of the economic condition nga magnakaw sa mina nga kumpanya sa mga machine nga posibleng magkaroon sang problema sa sina nga kumpanya. So vulnerable ina kay against their attack mahinang yung mga security measure nga imo gin-implement sa sina nga company. Kag ang mga security manager kag planner mini sila ang gaplano or naga-decide kid sa mga security nga ila ibutang dira para malikawan ang mga possible nga post nga matabo sa sina nga company. That's all. Thank you.
Risk management alternative and strategies. Number 1 is risk avoidance. This is the eliminating or removing the risk totally from the business, government, or industrial environment for which the risk manager has responsibility. So, there is a risk avoidance. For example, sa mga business na ginakwansang management, ginahimo nila ang tanan nga para ang risk nga ara sa ilang business is totally ma-vanish or madula ang risk. Tapos number 2 is risk reduction. This is the decreasing the risk by minimizing the probability of the potential loss. The reduction or criminal opportunity is often accomplished by situation crime prevention strategies to discourage, deter, or deny criminal incidents. Diri naman sa risk reduction is gina-minimize lang ang risk or ang opportunity nga may masulod nga risk sa inyong management or sa inyong business. For example, sa risk reduction is inang mga sprinkler system kung may sunog bala, kung inang sprinkler system gina-reduce sina ang possibility nga madayon ang sunog kay pag naka-detect na sa sang smoke is automatically ma-sprinkle in sa sang water para hindi madayon ang sunog nga matabo.
Everyone, hi ma'am, have a good day. So I am the one who is tasked to tackle about the topic, the hazards in general. Hazards in general. As earlier defined, hazard could mean exposure to the chance of loss or injury, or the term is synonymous to the risk and or peril. In the field of industrial security, any hazardous situation or conditions are called security hazards. So when we say security hazards, it is someone who could damage an organization by giving information to an enemy or competitor. When we say naman hazard, it is hazard can appear in many occupations, circumstances. Some hazards are acute and pose an immediate danger to health and physical integrity of the worker or guests on the premises. Others take a longer time to materialize and may have a cumulative effect, as is the case for the certain chemical vapors, dust, and radiation that may lead to chronic medical conditions. So, the next is the types of hazards. So, types of hazards is the natural hazards and the man-made hazard. So, first we will tackle the natural hazard. So, natural hazard, it is these are hazards which arise from natural hazards or disasters. So, natural hazards. So, natural hazards, it is an extreme event that occurs naturally and causes harm to humans and also to other things that we care about. These are, there are causes why natural hazards occurs. The causes are like soil erosion, seismic activity, tectonic movements, air pressure, and ocean currents. And when this hazard occur, there are effects that human being will suffer. Example of this is destruction of property, loss of financial resources, and personal injury or illness. There are preventions on how we can prevent these natural hazards. So, we can prevent these natural hazards by being aware, educated, prepared, and prediction and warning systems, and it can reduce the disruptive impacts of a natural disaster on the communities. So, here are the examples of natural hazards. So, the examples of natural hazards are flood caused by typhoons, earthquakes, fire not caused by human action, such as those caused by lightnings, storms, typhoons, cyclones, tornado and hurricane, lightning storms, and extreme temperature and humidity. So, di ko na ni pag-explain because these examples are self-explanatory naman. Balaan nyo naman kung ano ini sila kay this is magkakatabo man ini sa kalibutan permi, hindi man gid permi yung kisa lang, pero balaan nyo na kung ano ini sila. So, human man-made hazards. It is extreme hazardous events that are caused by human beings. Example of these are technological or industrial accidents, dangerous procedures, infrastructure failures, or certain human activities which may cause loss of life or injury, property damage, social and economical disruption, or environmental degradation. So here are the ways on how we can prevent human disasters. So we can prevent human disasters if we have training, and more training, limit access to sensitive systems, develop a strong disaster recovery plan, test your disaster recovery plan, and hold semi-annual or annual refresher courses. So next is the sabotage or sabotage. So sabotage, it can be described as the deliberate destruction or the deliberate damaging or destroying of property of equipment. For example, by resistance fighters, enemy agents, or disgruntled workers, or action to hinder or an action taken to determine, to undermine, or destroy somebody's effort or achievements. So, sabotage, it is an intentional action against someone or against your enemy to prevent them from being successful. Kag para sa emo enemy, it is considered na ina as a threat. Example, ikaw nga gapang sabotage or manog sabotage, ang tawag sa imo saboteur, wherein you hide your identity. Syempre, it is already a threat for them not knowing who ruin their effort or things that can lead them to success. So sabotage, you destroy it intentionally so that it won't work correctly or hindi na mag-work as what they expected kaya sabotage na or nasabotahin na or in short, nawasak na. Next is espionage. Espionage, it describes as the activity of spying or the use of spying or spies to gather secret information. This is hazard because people may come to know the confidential processes or procedures of a certain organization or business establishment. So, espionage. So, espionage, it is muna siya ang nagsulod sa imong organization kag dumuni siya bala ang ginatawag nga traidor. Traidor kay siya ang ang inyong ginistorya dira sa sulod sa inyong organization, siya ang mapagwa sa mga confidential information kag siya didto ang mapagwa sa mga confidential informations kag do magasira gid sa inyong organization, do nagsulod lang sa para magpang traidor. So ang tawag sila sa tao nga nagakommit sa espionage is spy or espionage agent. The next is pilferage. So pilferage, the act of stealing small small things, these or items of value, especially habitually. So, pilferage. It is the stealing small items of little value, but it is still considered as hazard. Why? So, for example, in business, small item of little value can be a loss at the end of the period, at the end of the year. Loss kung i-accumulate mo na ang mga little things, little value nga magadak ang little things, little value nga gakaladula dira, magadako ina sina ang iya nga value, especially if you are doing it habitually. In ang small items nga may little value, big loss na ina siya. So when we say pilferage, gastil man pero small things with little value lang. So ang lain siya sa thief, kay ang thief gastil siya sang property. Kung baga si pilferage wala or hindi dako-dako ang risk na i-commit, while si thief daw big scale na naiya nga ginastil kag dako or high na gid ang risk sina niya. So the next is theft and robbery. So theft and robbery, both acts involve the taking of another's property with intent to gain without the owner's against or intimidation of person nor force upon things, while robbery involves intimidation of persons or force upon things. So theft and robbery. Thief, when we say thief, the steal means steal siya sang someone's property but does not involve the use of a force. But robbery, it involves the use of force. So robbery through force or threat, may maximum sentences siya nga 15 years. Example sinisang thief and robbery is you are taking or stealing something directly from a person by forcing them to give it to you, or you are threatening them with violence. Makonsider na siya nga robbery through force or threat. Pero ini nga kind of robbery ga-include siya sang weapon. Any kind of weapon nga makaharm sa victim, include physical assault. So another example is the armed robbery. So sa armed robbery, same sa robbery through force or threat, pero ang weapon nga involved may cause sang injury or death sang victim mo, or nagamit ka sang gun o kung sang kutsilyo. And pwede ka man charge sang armed robbery kung ginaklaim mo nga may weapon ka during a robbery bisan wala ka ginman weapon. Next is carjacking. So ang carjacking may maximum sentence siya nga 30 years. So it involves taking control of a motor vehicle from the driver with the use of force. So imo ni siya persahanay nga ginaagaw ga pinangagaw ka sang hindi imo. Parehas man na sang ginaagaw mo ang mga bagay nga hindi para sa imo. So under robbery, ang maximum sentences ni is 15 years lang sa force or threat, 20 years sa armed robbery, 30 years gid sa carjacking. Sa under sa robbery ini ang kabilugan na bala sa nya types ng robbery. Ang liwaton ko ang 15 years lang sa force or threat, 20 years sa armed robbery, kag 30 years gid kung sa carjacking. So ako lang mambal, never ever think of committing these crimes. You may say 15 years na lang na, sa iban gani 30 years gid. Pero never gid mag-commit crime nga ikausik sang imo kabuhi. Not only sa robbery, same as a theft. Next is disloyalty. Disloyalty. This is the act of unfaithfulness to one's organization. This is hazardous because it may lead to unauthorized disclosure of information to other people. So, disloyalty, it is betrayal. So, muna siya ang disloyalty, hindi tapat sa tungkulin, or also what we call unfaithfulness. Next is disaffections. Disaffections, this is manifested by losing satisfactory, thereby causing the dissatisfied person to commit acts that may cause peril to his or own organization. So disaffection, in reality, kung madulaan na tagana kag hindi na ta satisfied towards something, we tend to say something bad about it. Same as sa inside sa organization. Example, people inside a certain organization are no longer satisfied sa mga changes and operations na ginapatupad sa sinang organization. In some cases, ginang mga people nga naga-end up being reklamador, and that behavior tends to become risky para sa organization. Next is the last one, subversive activities. Subversive activities, these are activities designed to overthrow government or other institutions. These hazards, because they may cause disruption of the normal operations of an institution or organization. So, subversive activities, those are unlawful activities that can cause a downfall of a legally constituted government. So, one example of this is propaganda writing. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Abigail Jean Balota. My report is about persons internal hazard. Every employee of the company or business establishment, including but not limited to the assigned security personnel, are all possible causes of security hazard. This is because of the following that are innate to every human being. Bawat empleyado o kumpanya sa isang business, hindi limitado sa itinalagang security personnel at ito ang mga sanhi ng security hazard. Number 1. Faith. In the sphere of security operation, faith can be questionable virtue those person in which trust of their fellow men is a leading instinct and who consider themselves a definite threat to effective security for the entire training an enemy has him at deceiving this type of person he may do withdraw at finite number of way, but is often the most commonplace and unexpected that prove most dangerous to the company. Ang faith, ang isa ka operasyon pansiguridad, kailangan ang pananampalataya at may tiwala sa isa't isa, subalit minsan ito ay maring kadududang kabutihan nagiging banta sa epektibong seguridad. Ang example sini, ang workers mo or nyo ay nagpapakitang tao lamang at ito ang nagiging banta sa inyong seguridad sa kumpanya dahilan ng pagbagsak ng isang kumpanya. Number 2. Consent. It is desire to satisfy to ego or impress to someone provide the enemy against with his best source of information and individual may consequently disclose sensitive information to unauthorized person because consent. May isa ka empleyado na ninais na may pabilib ang kanyang boss o isang tao ngut ang kanyang impormasyon na ibinigay ay hindi autorisado o peking impormasyon at wala itong maipakitang ebidensya dahil sa kanyang pagmamataas sa kanyang sarili. Number 3. Enthusiasm and pride, they are commonly causes of indiscretion in one who is truly interested in this job, find it difficult not talk and written about is the foreign agent and or criminal element by touching upon the individual pride. In this unit, or mission can learn much about the equipment training, operation, personnel, and strength. Ang mga karaniwang sanhi ng kawalang ingat sa kanyang trabaho ay nahihirapan hindi magsalita at magsulat minsan sa trabaho, pride o enthusiasm ang bawat individual na misyon. Marami ang matutuhan tungkol sa kagamitan, mga operasyon sa pagsasanay, tauhan. Isa sa mga kailangan ay may lakas ka sa bawat pagsasanay. Ignorance. Many people compromise visual information simple because they do not realize value and do not know the methods by which intelligence agency operate. Through security education and indoctrination, one can combat this. Maraming mga tao ang makakompromiso sa virtual na impormasyon dahil lang sa hindi nila pinaghalaga ang mga ito at hindi alam ang mga pamaraan kung saan magpapatakbo ng mga ahensya. For example, may mga taong nagpapatayo ng isang negosyo subalit ay may kulang sa kaalaman at hindi nila alam kung paano ito ipatakbo or operate ng maayos na minsan naging sanhi ng paggalugi ng kanilang mga negosyo.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Nicabel Dolor and I will report the lesson 3. So in this lesson, we will talking about pilferage and other security hazards. So first, pilferage as a security hazard. As earlier described, pilferage is the act of stealing small items or items of little value. However, these little items, when accumulated, become a great loss to a business establishment. So, pilferage is the one of the security hazard that's stealing small items, like when employee stealing mostly petty theft that are committed repeatedly over a long period of time na hindi na mamalayan na ang paunti-unting pagnanakaw ay maaring makaapekto sa isang negosyo. So, types of pilferers. First, casual pilferer is the one who steals due to his inability to resist the unexpected opportunity and has a little fear for being detection, is no plan or premeditation, and he is usually a loner on the job. The temptation to pick up the article is basically due to poor security measure. The implication of casual pilfering is the cumulative cost if it remains unchecked. So casual pilferer is still primarily because of an ability to resist the temptation of an unexpected opportunity and has little fear for being caught. Usually, they act alone and it's likely take any items easily accessible to him or to her. Halimbawa, sini is when you are alone cleaning the stock room, so may possibility ka nga matukso or magnakaw sa sinang stock room, it because of isa ka lang, wala may makakita sa imo, kag wala may nagabantay. So, madali kang matukso and you have opportunity to steal the items inside the stock room. So, next, systematic pilferer is the one who steals with preconceived plans and takes away any or all types of items or supplies for economic gain. Pilferers of this kind can be employee or outsider of the establishment. So, systematic pilferer thief will be someone who plans a thief advance, thinking about when it will be risky or easier to steal something, and they looks for items which is they can realize the greatest financial gain. So, halimbawa, sini ang mga kinukuha nila ay yung maliit na bagay na may mataas na halaga, tulad ng droga, mga mahalagang metal or mga mamahaling metal, and electronic devices including the radio, television, joke na hindi basta-basta madaling makuha. And minsan sa pagkuha sa nga items nagiging peligroso or naging delikado it because of may nagabantay or secure or may security measure or inang nga items is secured nga hindi makuha. So next, sabotage as a security hazard. As earlier defined, sabotage is a deliberate destruction of the deliberate damaging or destroying of property or equipment. So ito naman, ito yung may masamang motibong may masamang motibo na humahantong sa pagpapahinto ng normal na operasyon ng kumpanya, pabrika, or planta or establishment. Like for example, a situation where a company goes about spreading false news to investors about the competing company products with the intent run them out of the business. So, ginasabotage nila ang isa ka company in order nga mapahinto ina nga negosyo para wala sila kompetensya sa ilang nga products. So next is espionage as a security hazard. So as earlier stated, espionage is a hazard because it may cause unauthorized disclosure of the company information, processes, and procedures. So this is an act of gathering information and spying or use of spy by a government or a company. So when we say spy, this is an agent of espionage that dangerous because of their skills in deceptions and undercover work. So example sini when spy infiltrates the government to other countries to learn the valuable state secrets. So ito yung pag-ispiya sa pag-gather ng information na hindi pinapahintulutan or hindi authorized ng isa ka government or isa ka company. So next and the last, subversive activity as a security hazard. This is clearly security hazard because it's disrupt normal operation within the certain organization or institution. So subversive activity as a overthrowing or destroying legally constituted government. So example sini is propaganda writing that can spread rumors or false information or news na naglalayong ibagsak or sirain ang isa ka organization or isa ka institution. So that's all, ma'am. Thank you.